In the stillness of a moonless night, a chill wind whispered through the deserted streets of a forgotten town. Once a bustling hub of life and laughter, this town now stood as a silent testament to times gone by. The echo of its past vibrancy was now replaced by an eerie tranquility, a desolation that was as chilling as the wind that blew through its empty lanes. In the midst of this unsettling quiet, there was a lone figure, our protagonist navigating through the labyrinth of streets. With each step, a sense of unease grew, a feeling that was as vague as the shadows that danced on the cobblestones under the flickering street lamps. The town, it seemed, was not just abandoned by its residents, but by warmth and comfort too. An inexplicable cold was seeping into the very marrow of their bones, a cold that was not just of the wind, but of the soulless emptiness of the town. The figure moved on, their footsteps the only sound in the deathly hush echoing off the lifeless buildings. The old town hall, once a beacon of community and unity, now loomed ominously in the distance. The once bustling marketplace, full of the cacophony of traders and customers, now stood silent, the stalls empty, the goods long gone. The silence was unnerving, the desolation disconcerting. The figure, though a stranger to the town, could feel its past, its life, its spirit, all swallowed by an abyss of abandonment. The silence of the town was not of peace, but of a dreadful stillness that whispered tales of a forgotten tragedy. The figure's breath fogged up in the cold air as they turned a corner into an even darker alley, their heart pounded in their chest, the silence of the town amplifying the sound in their own ears. And then, just as they were about to turn back, a sudden flicker of movement caught their eye. From the corner of their eye, a spectral apparition appeared, a figure shrouded in mystery and fear. The air around them seemed to chill, a cold whisper of dread that swept through their body, setting their nerves on edge. The protagonist's heart pounded against their chest, a drum echoing the rhythm of their escalating fear. Their breath hitched in their throat, frozen by the sight that loomed before them. Confusion clouded their mind, a fog of bewilderment that swallowed their thoughts. Was this a trick of the light, a figment of their imagination, or something far more sinister? The figure was elusive, a shadow dancing on the edge of their vision. It was a silhouette, a blur, a haunting image that twisted and contorted in the dim light. Curiosity, as terrifying as it was alluring, began to tug at the corners of their mind. They found themselves drawn to this spectral figure, an inexplicable pull that seemed to radiate from the apparition. They could not shake the feeling that this ghostly figure held secrets, whispers of a forgotten past that echoed through the halls of their mind. As if on cue, a tale began to unfold, a legend whispered through the generations of a ghost that haunted the town, a spectre that lurked in the shadows, a chilling reminder of a tragedy that had once struck the heart of their community. The locals spoke of it in hushed tones, a story shared on dark, stormy nights, a tale that sent shivers down the spine of even the bravest soul. Our protagonist found themselves caught in the crossfire of fear and fascination. The apparition, this ghost of a forgotten past, was a puzzle demanding to be solved, a mystery that beckoned them into the depths of the unknown. In the blink of an eye, the apparition disappeared, leaving our protagonist in a state of shock and disbelief. The image was burned into their mind, a haunting echo that would linger, a spectral figure that would continue to haunt their waking hours and invade their dreams. With a racing heart and a mind filled with questions, our protagonist decided to investigate. Their curiosity, coupled with a growing apprehension, propelled them into a world they had never anticipated to explore. Our protagonist, now akin to a detective, was on a mission to uncover the truth. Their first stop, the town library, a building as old and worn as the secrets it housed. It was a place that had witnessed generations of townsfolk, each with their own stories and mysteries. With the help of the elderly librarian, who had been a custodian of the town's history for decades, they began to delve into the past. Rows upon rows of dusty books, old newspapers and forgotten journals offered a peek into the town's history. Among these relics of the past, our protagonist found something chilling, a series of newspaper clippings about a disappearance that had occurred many years ago. The story was eerily familiar. A young person, much like our protagonist, had vanished without a trace. The more they read, the more they felt a growing sense of dread. The details of the disappearance, the town's reaction, the fruitless search, everything was eerily similar to their current predicament. It was as if history was repeating itself, this time with our protagonist at the centre. The connection between the ghost they had encountered and the disappearance became evident. The image of the ghost, the haunting gaze, the silent plea, it all pointed towards the lost soul of the person who had vanished all those years ago. The realization was like a punch to the gut. As the pieces of the puzzle started to fall into place, our protagonist was swept up in a whirlwind of fear and disbelief. The ghost was not just a figment of their imagination, but a real, tragic figure, trapped between this world and the next. As the pieces of the puzzle started to fall into place, the protagonist felt an icy hand of fear clutch their heart. That night, as our protagonist lay in bed, the ghost made another appearance, this time with a chilling message. The spectral figure stood at the foot of the bed, its form flickering like a candle struggling against the wind. It spoke, its voice a whisper that made the air feel colder. Seek the truth hidden in the roots of the old oak, and you'll find the key to your salvation. The words, cryptic yet compelling, hung heavy in the room, a riddle wrapped in an enigma. Our protagonist's heart pounded like a drum in their chest. Fear, like a cold hand, gripped them. They could feel it, the desperation creeping in, clawing its way up their spine. They were living in a nightmare, their home invaded by a spirit from another realm, their peace shattered by its haunting presence and its cryptic message. But there was a sliver of hope. The ghost had mentioned salvation, a way out, a chance to break free from this spectral prison. And so, amidst the fear and desperation, a resolution formed. They decided to seek help, to delve into the town's history, to unearth the truth hidden beneath layers of time and forgetfulness. And who better to help them unravel the truth than the town's local historian? A man who had spent his life studying the past, peeling back the layers of history like the pages of a well-worn book. A man who knew the stories that the town whispered in hushed tones, the secrets it kept hidden in the shadows. The decision was made. As morning light seeped in through the cracks in the blinds, our protagonist rose from their bed, their resolve solidifying with each passing moment. They would seek out the historian. They would find the old oak. They would uncover the truth. With the ghost's words echoing in their mind, our protagonist set off to find the historian, unaware of the horrors that awaited. In the historian's house, amidst dusty books and forgotten tales, a horrifying revelation was waiting to be unveiled. As our protagonist sat on a worn-out chair, the historian, an old man with eyes filled with years of knowledge and sorrow, began to narrate the town's chilling past. His voice echoed in the room, filled with both fear and regret. He spoke of a curse, a punishment for an unforgivable sin committed centuries ago, a sin so grave that it summoned the wrath of a vengeful spirit, a spectre that sought retribution and peace in equal measure. This spirit, he revealed, was not a random apparition, but the restless soul of an innocent, wronged by the town's ancestors, wronged and then forgotten, left to wander in eternal agony. Each word from the historian's lips wove a gruesome tapestry of betrayal and vengeance, a tale that made the blood run cold. The curse was not just a tale to frighten the town's children into obedience, but a chilling reality that had claimed countless lives over the years. And now it was not just a story, but a terrifying prophecy. For the historian's research had unearthed a pattern, a cycle of victims, a schedule of doom, and this pattern pointed to a horrifying conclusion. Our protagonist was next. The realization was like a cold dagger to the heart. The protagonist was not an outsider, not a detached observer, but an integral part of this terrifying narrative. They were the next chapter in this long, tragic tale, the next victim of a vengeful spirit seeking justice for a centuries-old crime. As the historian finished his tale, a sudden deafening silence fell over the room. Outside, the wind howled ominously, as if foretelling the horrors yet to come.